Sewing of men's shirt, Part 1. In the previous sessions, we cut the fabric for the front pieces, back bodice piece, 2 yoke pieces, standing collar, sleeves, cuffs and placket pieces for the shirt sleeves, and cut and fused the interfacing for the collar, standing collar, cuffs, and also ironed the conventional plackets and sleeve head. In this session, we will see how to sew them together. At the end of this session, you will be able to sew fabric pieces for a men's shirt. Check the quality of the finished product. Let's first familiarize with the tools and materials required for sewing of men's shirt. They are cut-out fabric pieces, matching thread, sewing machine, a pair of small scissors, measuring tape, matching buttons, hand sewing needle, and iron box. First, we will sew the conventional placket. Take the left side of the front piece, fold the placket, and sew a bit away from the fold. Now take the right side and sew along the inner fold as shown here. Now take the left piece and sew the other side along the fold. Thus we have finished sewing the conventional placket for the front shirt piece. This is the left side of the front piece where the buttonholes are sewn. And this is the right side of the front piece where the buttons are sewn. Next, let's see how to sew the yoke pieces to the back bodice. Place the back bodice between the yoke pieces as shown here and sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here, the yoke pieces will not match the length of the back piece. This is to provide bearing ease. So while sewing, try to match the center notches. Keep the cut edges aligned and sew them together. Here, you could see some ruffles at the back piece which provides the comfort factor to the garment. Next, let's see how to sew the shoulder seams. First, join the front pieces to the outer yoke piece as shown here. Sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now top stitch the inner yoke enclosing the seam allowances. Thus we have joined the front and back pieces together. Next, we will join the collar pieces. Place the collar pieces together and sew the 3 sides as shown here. Now trim the seam allowance at the 2 corners towards the peak and turn the collar to its right side. To get neat corners out, gently push the corners with the help of small scissors. Top stitch all around the 3 edges. Now take the standing collar piece with interfacing and fold 1/4 inch over and press the fold. Now place the interfacing piece of the collar on top of the interfacing piece of the standing collar along the curve. Then place the single layer of both the collars together. Sew along the curve and make sure that the center notches and cut edges are aligned. Trim along the curves and turn the collars to the right side. Check the lengths of the collars to see if both the sides are equal. Next, we will see how to fix the collars to the neckline. For that, measure the lower seam of the standing collar till the notch and transfer the same measurement to the front and back of the bodice and make corrections accordingly. Now sew and fix the collar to the neckline with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. In the next session, we will see how to sew the sleeves with plackets and cuffs, sew the bottom hem, and fix the buttons.